Good morning and welcome to Manchester. We're all here. Yay! My name is Carol Read and I'm President of IATEFL, and this is our 49th International Conference. We're not quite 50 yet, well, not speaking personally of course, but we will be next year in Birmingham. And I would like you now, please, to give our traditional wave to the thousands of online delegates around the world who are also with us this morning. So if I could ask you to turn and wave to the camera over there, to all the people who may be in their pajamas early in the morning or late at night. We can see you. No, we can't really. You're safe. Okay, this is the first time that IATEFL has been back to Manchester for 17 years. And here we are again in this wonderful new conference venue right in the middle of Manchester. And I would just like to open this conference with a very little story that underlines the importance of why we're all here. And this is a story about a mother mouse and her baby mice. Let's call them mouselets for the sake of the story. And the little mouselets were just born, and they were squealing and tumbling and playing happily in the sunshine, when suddenly there was a dark shadow cast over them, and they froze on the spot, and they looked around, and there was the most enormous tomcat. And the tomcat had huge yellow eyes like saucers, and long whiskers which were quivering as he got ready to pounce, and long yellow fangs and saliva at his mouth. And he had one thought on his mind: lunch. And the mother mouse, as quick as a flash, she jumped and she put herself between her little mouselets and the big tomcat. And she looked at the tomcat straight in the eye and glared, and with a great deal of attitude and panache, she barked, woof, woof, woof. And the tomcat was so surprised that with his tail between his legs, he fled into the bushes. And the mother mouse turned to her little mouselets and she said, "You see, my darlings, now take this as a lesson for life. Never underestimate the importance of learning another language." And that, as we all know, is the reason why we're all here today, because none of us underestimate the importance of learning another language. And we have lined up for you the most fabulous conference with world-class plenary speakers, starting with Donald Freeman this morning, signature events, our interactive language fair, early morning how-to sessions that some of you will already have been to, and a whole load of other sessions and so on. But before we start, one thing I would like to do is to introduce you to my colleagues, to the IATEFL trustees, that the 8 of us, we work together very closely as a team, and we are responsible for the legal and financial governance of IATEFL. and I would like to introduce them to you, starting at the end here with Gary Mottram, who is chair of our membership committee, and membership seems to span an amazing number of issues that we deal with in IATEFL. And then we have Marjorie Rosenberg, who is acting Vice President of IATEFL, incoming President and Chair of the Publications Committee. We then have Colin Mackenzie, who of course has a key important role as the Treasurer of IATEFL, dealing with all the financial business. Caroline Moore, Chair of our Electronic Committee, again another increasingly important role within IATEFL. Les Kirkham, our Associate Representative, who maintains and works very closely with IATEFL these days, 136 associates. Then we have Zeynep here, who is our secretary, but please don't be fooled by that word, because there's actually an awful lot more to the job than that traditionally implies. And last but not least, George Pickering, who is our SIG representative and coordinates and works with the SIGs, our wonderful 15 IATEFL SIGs, who are making such an important input into this conference today. And one of the things I just want to tell you about very briefly that we have worked together on very hard over the last 2 years as a team is extending IATEFL's reach to our associates throughout the world. And one of the things we've done is created a scheme called IATEFL Projects, which enables associates who are eligible for our wider membership scheme to apply for a small grant that will make a qualitative and sustainable difference to teaching and learning in their context. And I am very happy to announce today the winner of our second IATEFL Projects Award, the IATEFL Projects Award for 2015, which goes to Camelta in Cameroon for a fantastic project for cascaded training for early career teachers, where there is a tendency for them to get dispirited after 1 or 2 years because of the conditions that they work in and leave the profession. And this is a project to provide the kind of leadership skills that will bring up, skill up the coming generation in Cameroon. So could I ask you please to give a huge round of applause to Camelta. I would just like to mention, and some of you were at the opening reception last night, that IATEFL Projects is the focus of our fundraising initiative this year. And we had a fantastic opening ceremony yesterday with Julian Saraya and Tom Jones, who arrived at Manchester Central Hall on their bicycles after cycling 1,120 kilometres from Frankfurt to raise money for IATEFL Projects. If you want to support this initiative, which is going to enable more projects like the Camelta one this year, like the Altai India one last year, please go to the GoFundMe site. You can find the details on the IATEFL Facebook page and support that. And in addition to that, and if you have friends and colleagues at home who are envious of you being here in person, why not take them back a little souvenir, an IATEFL mug? These are available from the registration desk. And a third thing that you might want to do is this year we also have an IATEFL Projects raffle, which are at bargain prices. You know, you get a good deal if you buy 3 tickets rather than 1, and there are some wonderful sponsors prizes there too. A conference like this doesn't happen without a huge amount of work. And some people say, does it take a year? but actually it takes much longer than a year. When I first became Vice President in 2012, one of the first things I did was a site visit to Manchester. There are too many people to thank in person. But what I would like to just say, and actually maybe you won't be able to see each other, but if you are one of the people on my wonderful conference committee, or if you're on one of the wonderful special interest group committees that have been working so hard to do anything in preparation for this conference, please could you just stand up and we'll give you a big round of applause. Any IATEFL volunteers out there? Or raise your arms if you don't want to stand up. Fantastic. Fantastic. The other people I would like to thank, none of this could happen without the generosity of our sponsors and all our exhibitors. So if you're here, if you are one of our sponsors, I can't name you all in person, you can see them up on the, up behind me here, but could you also wave your arms or stand up and could we give you a round of applause as well? And finally, of course, none of this would happen without all of you being here today. And many of you are also giving presentations. And that is just wonderful, the kind of sharing of expertise, the exchange of ideas that is going to go on. So if you are giving a presentation over the next 4 days, could you please kind of wave your arms or stand up and say hello to the people around you who are doing that and wish them good luck. I would also like to say hi again to everybody out on the online who's watching this. We just had a message now, literally just now, which is why I'm reading it out, saying how wonderful it is to be part of this online conference. I would like to thank you for the greatest chance of being able to be at the conference. I will be watching excitedly the whole weekend. I wish computers would give out the smell so I could feel what it's like to be there. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so we have all those people with us as well. And so now, without any further ado, I would like to ask my trustee colleagues to take their seats, and I will then hand over to my colleague George Pickering to introduce our first plenary speaker, Donald Freeman. Have a wonderful conference. Thank you very much.